Hi, my name is DelmarshaeWalker. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is doing great today. What I want to talk about is education, because it's something that I have been thinking about based on different things I've seen on the internet. I know when, back in the days when they was teaching people to be independent thinkers, to be able to reason, to be able to think for themselves, come as a group and do, you know, kind of work things out as a group, independent thinking, but also being able to come up with decisions and make decisions as a group. And now the education, I feel, has shifted to where they're educating people to more or less be workers, to more or less obey the rules, like follow the rules, obey the rules. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but they're not teaching kids to be independent thinkers or to think logically. One of the things I seen that kind of disturbed me in a way was these people, they looked like they was like out of high school. And it was this guy asking questions. And one of the questions that was asked was, how many seasons are there in a year? And the person answered 12. Another question that the guy asked was, how many days are in a year? And the person answered that was 1,000 days in a year. And another question that was asked to someone totally different. Each of these questions was asked to different people, different ethnicities, and different genders. The other question I seen that was asked was, how many terms do a president get? And I forgot the answer, but it wasn't the correct answer. So it makes me kind of wonder, is like, I know both parties have to be engaged in order for a person to learn. It's not 100% the teacher's responsibility, and it's not 100% the student's responsibility. It's both people, because you can have the best teacher in the world. If the student is not engaged or want to learn, they're not going to learn. And then vice versa. You can have a student that is very eager to learn, but a teacher that's not eager to teach. So it's kind of made me wonder, like, exactly what is going on in these classrooms. Are the teachers not being engaged? Are the students not being engaged? Is it a combination of both? Because in order to, because these are simple questions, that I feel that they should have learned in elementary school, just basic, it's not difficult questions, just basic questions that should have been taught and learned in elementary school. And I feel like education needs to get back to the basic of actually teaching kids to be independent thinkers, and not to be conformists, not to be workers and stuff. Don't be sheets where they just go with the flow. Because with technology is great, but what happens if technology isn't there? Can these kids function without technology? Will they be able to get information? Will they know how to look stuff up? I know in school they no longer teach how to write in cursive, and I understand that might not be a big deal, but from my understanding, when you're signing papers, you have to sign in cursive. And suppose someone writes something in cursive. If you can't write it yourself, how can you read it? Everything is not going to be on computers forever. That information can get lost. Something can happen to the technology where it's no longer there. So how are you going to be able to move forward and think for yourself? So it's like they're trying to get a generation of people a generation of people that are easily controlled, because they're trained at a very young age to just stay in the line and follow the rules. There's no individual creativity. There's no individual, okay, if everyone is doing this, I want to stand on my own 2 feet and do something different. because it's like now they feel like if I do something different, they're going to talk about me. If I do something different, I might be ousted. If I do something different, I'm not fitting in. You know, I'm going to be looked at as a troublemaker and not an independent thinker. Because even when you look at something as simple as fashion, you have people saying on one hand, fashion is an expression of an individual person, how they want to dress, want to feel. Then the next thing you know, you have people saying, well, this is out, this is in, this is how you should dress, this isn't what you should wear. So you're having people like telling you the rules of fashion, but it's supposed to be something that's independent. It's supposed to be something that's self-expressed. Just like with art, with music, anything like that is an expression of how you feel as an individual, and it's not necessarily what everyone else like, or whatever the group like, or whatever is popular, because you don't have to always do what's popular. But I don't feel like they're teaching kids to stand on their own 2 feet, or to stand up for what they feel is right, or to even voice their opinion on what they think, or if it goes against the grain, or it goes against what everyone else thinks. A lot of people are scared to raise their hand and say something, or raise their hand and even question the teacher about what the teacher is teaching, or different things like that. And so I feel that we should get back to the basics of teaching kids how to be independent thinkers, teaching kids how to read something that actually comprehend what they read. Don't be afraid to challenge kids, and don't get mad when kids have questions that may be challenging to you as a teacher, or challenging to you as a parent. Not disrespectful. It's a difference between being disrespectful or being curious and saying, okay, you said this, but what about that? Or if I did this, what would happen? Sometimes these questions aren't rebellious questions. They're just how the person's mind works. It's scientifically proven that there is different ways of learning. Everyone don't learn the same way. But when it comes to teaching, they want one style of teaching that's supposed to fit everyone, even though they know everyone don't learn the certain way. Some people learn a logical way. Some people learn verbally. Some people learn visually. Some people learn hands-on. Some people love being able to, go back and forth with the teacher, go back and forth with their classmate, more like in a open setting where there's open dialogue. Some people learn like that. But a lot of times there's only one style of teaching, and then that's leaving everyone else out who's not learning that way. And then they want to look at these people as being, oh, they can't learn, or if they're bored because they're not teaching them on their wavelength, they're not teaching them the style of learning that they're into, then they want to label them as troublemakers. They want to kick them out of class. They want to kick them out of school. But it's like you have to look at who you're teaching. Just because you want to, or you're told this is the style of teaching you should do, if you're truly into teaching kids, you would look at each individual child and say, okay, this child learns better when they're doing this. This child learns better so you're going to mold your teaching to the different kids. And I know it can't be 100% perfect, because depending on how many kids are in a classroom, that can be daunting. But you have to understand that there's more than one style of learning. So there should be more than one style of teaching. And I think once the students and the teachers are both engaged, I think everyone will have a better experience in the classroom, other than just, some kids can't just sit and read a book. Be like, just sit down and read chapter this, and then you're over there as a teacher doing your own thing while the kid's supposed to be, just reading. And to some kids, that's really hard to do, just sit there. Because like me, I'm an individual, I love to learn. But sitting down in a classroom, just sitting there reading a book, that drove me crazy. I could not, that was not my style of learning. So for me, even though I wasn't like one of these kids that was loud, got up and walked around, or was disruptive in class, it was like literally killing me just to be sitting there all that time, because I'm the type of person, I learn visually, I learn audible, And I learned by, having a conversation, getting up, asking this person a question, that person a question. Oh, could you show me what you're talking about? Oh, I read this, I'm not getting this, not making sense. Could you explain it to me? That's how I learn. And a lot of times when you say things like that to teachers, they get upset and they just want you, just sit down and read that. We're going to go over it at the end of class. We're going to do. So it's like, now it's like, what am I supposed to do until we get to that point? Because I'm not getting it. I need to a better understanding. I need a conversation. I need something more than what you're giving me. And that's a lot of kids that are in school now. They're not getting the information because they're not being taught in the style of learning that they need to be taught in. So I just wanted to more or less put that out there, that if you're a teacher, if you're a new teacher, kind of look at the different styles, because I think it's about 8 different styles of learning. And then if you are a seasoned teacher, really think about that. Look at your student. What's best? Who are you there for? Are you there for yourself? Or are you there to be a great teacher, motivate your students, and get them excited about learning again? Because we don't need a bunch of people in this day and age that's just going to follow the leader. We need people who are going to be independent thinkers. We need people who are going to, you see everything that's going on in this world. People need to be on their game when it comes to being educated. And that's the generation that we need to be raising. Like, different diseases coming out. So we need people who's going to be thinking outside of the box of what type of disease this is. What can we do to eradicate it? Different things like that. So stop trying to just teach one style of teaching and teaching people just to be workers. What if things change? And so just teach kids based on how they learn. Get an understanding of the students that you have in your classroom, and teach them the way they need to be taught. Teach them to be independent thinker. Teach them to be a logical thinker. Teach them to be able to read, and not only read, but comprehend what they read. And teach them to be able to explain what they just read to you, so you can know if they truly understand it, and different things like that. So basically, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Just when it comes to education, don't just teach kids to be workers. Don't just teach kids to, once you get out of school, you go to college and then you get a good job. Teach kids to think outside of the box and look at the world for what it really is. The world is not one size fit all. The world is totally different, and they need different people to make sure this world run a little smoother. You need different types of thinkers. Everyone is not going to be, want to do the same thing. So you have to kind of cater to the mind of a child and how it thinks. And like I said, they asking questions, don't just think they're just doing that to be disrespectful or to be rebellious or anything like that. They're just curious. My mind is constantly going. My mind thinks about a lot of different things. Like, if you really had a chance to talk to me and really know me on a personal level, it looks as if I'm just bouncing from one thing to another. But that's just how my mind processes information. Is some things that just attract me, and I'm there. I'm looking. I'm curious. I want to know. I'm very curious about different things. Like, some people are just one track. They love one thing, and that's the only thing they do. But me, my mind, is different. My mind has different interests, and I'm truly interested in those things. I'm not following trends or what everybody else is doing or what everybody else is thinking. My mind goes to what attracts me at that point in time. And I have different interests. I have a lot of interests, and I have different interests. So it's not that I'm scatterbrained. It's just how my mind processes information. It's just how my mind processes the world. And like I said, I'm hands-on. I learn better visually when I'm seeing things done in front of me. My mom used to have, like, you buy things and you have them put together, whether it's a dresser, entertainment system, or whatever. My mom used to have me to put them together. I never read the instruction. I just looked at the picture. When I read the instruction, I would get confused on what they wanted me to do. I would just look at the picture, see how everything lined up, see what type of screws they're talking about. And just looking at the pictures alone, I was able to put, whatever she wanted me to put together, I was able to put it together because I'm a visual learner. It made sense to me when I just looked at the picture and seeing how everything was set up, seeing how everything went together. Sitting there trying to read that information, I'm reading it and it's like, it was just so confusing to me that to the point now I'm like, I can't read these instructions. Let me just go ahead and look at the pictures, do what I need to do, and I got the job done. And there's nothing wrong with that style of learning. That's just how my mind process information. And that's how kids are. Kids' mind process information differently. And you have to understand that, and you have to teach to the style that they're in tune with learning in. So like I said, that's all I wanted to say. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your day.